And now, Team No Excuses presents The Ray Lewis Show.
Oh, welcome back. Welcome back. Listen to me. I'm talking about Sugar Ray is in the building. And when you talk about everyday greatness, when you talk about minds, this guest I have coming on today, it's his mentality. It's the way his mind works. And I was blessed to be a part of when his mind started working the best. Thank you for joining No Excuses, the Ray Lewis Show. If this is your first time, buckle up. There's always some nuggets. And if you are back every week, you already know what to prepare for. This next guy I got to bring on. A lot of people say, who's the best defense ever to play in the National Football League? And a man once told me before, it was the Baltimore Ravens 2000. And the general of that defense, the mind of that defense, a man that forever changed the way that I saw the game and appreciated the game. One of the greatest coaches ever. Much more than a coach, though. A father, a mentor, a leader. The great Marvin Lewis. Coach, what is going on? What is going on?
Well, Ray, I appreciate that. And it's so great to be here with you and to see you in person. And, I'm not seeing you on a screen somewhere where I got to text you. We actually conversing back and forth.
Coach, what is going to, okay, so look, let's jump into this, right? Because we're 20 years removed from the first time we touched.
Can you believe that?
Can you believe that? Can you believe 20 years went that fast?
25 years since you walked down that sidewalk in that facility in Baltimore.
25 years. And I never forget the day I looked at you and I was like, Coach, I don't know where we are. What is this? We don't have colors. We don't have logos.
We was the meme machine. Nobody knows that, bro. No name, no colors. We was
no nothing. So listen, 20 years, 25 years since we've seen what we've seen. I want to go back a little bit because we just had the 20-year anniversary and we're doing some stuff around it. But every time that we think about the 20-year anniversary, I always got to think about the general. And I brought it up the other day on another Zoom about how you were so intentional about not letting us get away with the little things. What do you think then? What made us so great then, Marv? And when did you see it?
I tell people all the time the fact that, Ray, when we drafted you in 96, we had that mini camp. And as a 20-year-old young man, by day 2, you were the leader of that football team. And that was the most exciting thing. I think we all saw that we had some veteran players on that team at that point, but they all deferred to you. And then as we went, we added the Rod Woodsons, the Tony Sirgusas, Mike McCrary, to go along with yourself and the Rob Burnett's and the great pros we already had. And we continued to draft the young talent. And you guys always had a quest to be good. And I think as we added Rod, later on the other side of the ball, Shannon Sharp, Ben Coates, Sam Gash, those guys, they pretty much told you it was okay, Ray, for you to continue to be special. And that's what I tell people was the driving force of that football team. That as we added those veteran players that had skins on the wall, you wanted to be like them. And they told you it was okay to be special, to be lockstep, to train, to eat, to study, and learn the game like you did. And that's what I said. That was the smartest group of football players ever assembled, is why you were the best. I couldn't run a play opposite the way the opponent ran it because y'all would look at me like I was crazy. Y'all would just stand up in the middle of the play, and I would say, you know what, they can run it the other way. But literally, y'all would just put your hands on your hips and look at me like I was doing something stupid. I said, they're allowed to go opposite of what they've been doing, okay? Let's just make sure we're prepared. But that's how well y'all studied and knew.
Right.
And I think the other thing it was, it was a group of guys that all came in different parts of football. You came from the draft, first round pick. Peter, first round pick. Jamie, second round pick. Cornell, fifth round pick. All these guys, McCreary, later, Rod, first. But you all came together and you wanted to be the best. You know, we turned the corner literally in 99. I literally remember we were playing the Falcons in a preseason game, and they had you mic'd up. And they let me listen to the mic after the game. And they had a running back, and he was talking stuff back and forth in the huddle. And he said he was very religious. And I remember you telling him, we got Jesus over here too, but you better get ready because we're coming at you. And I really think that was one of the turning points. And Brian, I don't know if you remember this, but Brian coming in the defensive meeting saying, you all can continue to send 2-3 guys to the Pro Bowl and we can finish 8-8, or we can get this right and you can be special. Yeah. And I think when y'all heard that from someone else, that was the driving force, you know, because we began to turn that corner 98 and then obviously 99 when Brian took over, and we just learned how to do things better as a football team.
Yeah. Yeah. You know, I was talking to the guys the other day, man, and seriously, like, I wish, and because this is to a credit to what you're talking about, the relationships that we still have, what we built then, Marv, I'm telling you, man, it's one of the most special things I've ever been a part of. So I guess my thoughts to you is, what's the greatest thing you remember about that team? And I'm gonna tell you one of mine, because I'll never forget. Let me tell you mine first, right? Okay. We walked in the Super Bowl and we come in the team meeting, the defensive meeting, and you were like, I got something for you guys. And we're sitting there, we're like, what did Marv put together? And you put this highlight tape together. You remember that highlight tape that you put together the night before the Super Bowl? I mean, the day before. And we're looking, and I saw this look in each one of our eyes when we got done with that video. And I'll never forget when we went back in the game room, me and Rod, we looked at each other with Goose. We say, they're not scoring. They are absolutely not scoring. But it was a moment when you walked in there. I told the same story the other day about Brian Billick. I think one of the most impactful things that was done that season is when we got into the playoffs, he marked off every day, every time, every meeting, from the first playoff game till we ended in Tampa. And when we got to Tampa, you introduced this video to us, Marvin. I'm telling you, man, we was talking about it the other day, me, Jamal, Rod, because you remember some offensive players came in the room because they wanted to see it. And it just turned into this thing. And I'm just telling you, because I'm on this side of it, it was one of the greatest things I remember ever about that Super Bowl run. Yeah, for real.
So the first thing you said, and that's the first thought. But my part of the thought is, you were watching the video again on the way to the bus after the pregame meal. You were in the room. I walked by the room, and you were sitting in the room watching the video again by yourself. And the other part I remember is telling my wife when she had, because the families left for the game earlier than we did. And I said, I'll come get Marcus out the stands after the game. She said, what? I said, after we win, I'll come get Marcus out the stand and he can stay with me. And she said, when? She said, you've never said that. But I said, go on, we got this one. I said, we got this. I said, we have had to back down since we got to Tampa. I don't know if you remember that we was riding that bus downtown Baltimore to the
and ran into the police car.
And when we got to Tampa and it was 70 degrees, we had to slow y'all down. We had to slow you down before we were going to hurt somebody.
This is what makes this so special for me. If people knew the full story of that ride and the mentality, Marv, I watched it today. And that's why I want to transition to the game today, because our mentalities back then, there was no way out. They would lock the door, throw away the key. We'll never see that again. What you think, Coach?
No, it's
a different game.
I think when you get down to the last 4 teams, you have people like that.
Yeah.
Because that's the beauty of the National Football League. It's the best team gets to hoist that trophy every year. It's not the best players, it's the best football team. And I think that's what makes it special when you get to the end and the relationships that you all have. Like when that group text comes around, I mean, everybody, it's a part of it. You know, being in Canton when you were inducted in the Hall of Fame, everybody being there, people being there when Rod went in, all those things and how special that is. Anytime we can get together, and obviously now I'm at a different point where now I can get together and see y'all that way. Right. But those are special times. And because you put it on the line for everybody. I mean, James Trapp, Robert Bailey, Corey Harris. I mean, all these guys that played a part, Anthony Mitchell, okay? Yeah. Mr. Modell, after Kim Herring got hurt in that first playoff game, and Mr. Modell says to me on the practice field, Maul, Poindexter? And I said, no, Mr. Modell, we're going to put Anthony Mitchell in there. Corey will start in the base. Anthony Mitchell will take his spot in the nickel, and Corey will move up to the dime. He said, Maul, your stock is at all-time high. You better be right on this one. And Anthony Mitchell intercepted the ball and blocked it in the
field goal block.
You know? Yeah. And so all those memories we all had were so special, you know, because we rose from the ashes. I tell Ozzy all the time, we were like the Zenith, man. We rose from the ashes. Yeah. From the municipal stadium to the new stadium. Right. We had win practice against Philly. Remember we practice against the Eagles?
Oh boy. Do I remember?
And you know what you told me the next day? When the Eagles had time off, they was having time off, and we was going back on the buses. We was gonna get up the next day and go down to the stadium to practice. You said, Mom, I can't give it to you today. Because you was out there like a warrior the day before, like it was a real ball game.
Yeah.
And that's what I tell people was also special. I can remember twice in the wonderful 6 years I had coaching you that you said, Coach, I just ain't got it today. That was one of the times.
I told this because you know you see the playoff games now, right? And sometimes you see special players, right? That day they just don't have it, right? It just don't click. And I'll never forget, 98, we played Indy and we played Peyton Manning and Marshall Faulk in Baltimore.
Peyton's rookie year.
Peyton's rookie year. Him and Faulk come to Baltimore and they just shredded us. They hit us on a couple of big plays. And I'll never forget you coming to me and Rod Wilson and you said, it forever changed my career because you said, when my best 2 players have a game like that, I don't have a chance of winning. And it sunk in my head. Coach, I'm telling you this, it sunk in my head so much. I always said, I will never be the reason why we lose. Now we go through the battle, right? We win some battles, we lose some battles. But to be selfish about something, because you remember we was trying to get a pick and we was trying to do all these other stuff. But
Rod let Marshall Faulk run right by him.
Right. It was, oh my gosh, that game. But I just told that story, and I tell that story all the time because from a leadership level, if you want to do something, you have to be the example getting that done. Listen to this. Listen to these names. Purple People Eaters, Steel Curtain, the Chicago Bears, 86, 85. Pittsburgh Steelers, oh my gosh, their legacy for so long. Yeah. And then you add the Baltimore Ravens. This ain't been, I want to hear because I want to know what made us different than those great defenses.
Well, to me, I think literally how y'all embrace learning in the game. I think you embraced the game. You understood. I don't know if you remember how I would give y'all that call sheet and y'all would go in the room on Fridays and I would buy that chicken and y'all would sit there and eat chicken and call the game.
Yeah.
And you didn't need me. I could have passed out on the sideline and y'all could have played the game because you knew the plan every week so well. You knew what we were going to call. You know, we're playing the Arizona Cardinals that year. Okay. We come out to Arizona on Friday.
Mm-hmm.
The whole team comes out on Thursday night. So you know what happens then. We got some people with some long faces. We got some people with some long faces. And we come out here to Arizona and we ain't all there, man.
We ain't there.
And, we're in the game in the fourth quarter. And I think they gave Dave McGinnis the job that day. We're in the fourth quarter and they're playing their tails off against us. And it comes down, Chris, I made a call. I changed the call because there was a penalty or a timeout. Chris McAllister played the same call, touchdown, 80-yard touchdown. I mean, so we're in a dogfight.
Yeah.
The fourth quarter timeout, game on the line, and I called the coverage, and Rod's sitting there waving me off, and he wanted me to blitz, and we blitz. We zero blitz.
Yeah.
It put him on the slot. You ended up deflecting the ball.
Yep.
Game over.
Yep.
And that's the kind of thing is Rod Woodson, yourself, guys wanted to be at the tip of the spear.
Yeah.
They wanted to be the reason why we won.
Yeah.
And put it on me, coach. I got this. And I think to me that was it was such a defining moment for a football team to win a game where we didn't play as well as we needed to, but we still won the game.
Yeah.
And that's what that season was all about.
Yeah. You know what? That's why honestly I tell the story the way I tell the story all the time, right? Because when I watch defenses now, and I know you watch football now, it's Marvin messes with my head so much when I'm watching the games because of the lack of communication. If it was one thing that you installed in us is nobody on the field should ever be quiet. Everybody has something to share. And that intel, that type of communication, I'm telling you, Marv, it drives me crazy when I watch the game now. The game is starting to change right before our eyes, right? And we're witnessing this. You're still in the game, doing your thing with Herm at Arizona State. But a brain like Marvin Lewis, this is me personally, right? A brain like Marvin Lewis needs to be in the National Football League as a head coach, right? And me and you talked about this already on the phone, right? Why is the struggle so hard for minority coaches to get hired as a head coach, coach? Like why is this still an issue after all of these years? The Eric Bieniemys, everybody that's in this pool of Black coaches, and you see these other guys that's coming up getting jobs. What's the problem? Why do we have that disconnect?
I think the number one thing is we have to continually raise ourselves up. You know what I'm saying? We got to keep raising up the young Black coaches all the time. I think that's really important. Yes, I wanted to go back and would have taken a head coaching job this year had it worked out. What I'm doing here at ASU for Herm Edwards, Ray Anderson is incredible. I appreciate what they've allowed me to do and helping them further what they want and bring these young men we got forward. And that's the thing, help prepare them for careers in the NFL. But I think the thing that I see is the ability for us to continually mentor these coaches and get them prepared for those same steps that I was able to take. When I came up through, we had certain paths we were supposed to have to take. Now, for some reason, that path gets altered a little bit. And I think that's the frustrating thing for many of the Black coaches, the fact that people say, well, we're going to go in a different direction because you don't really call the plays. You don't call the defense. You don't call this. But they see their peers being hired and they don't take those steps. And that's the thing that for young coaches, minority coaches, that's the frustrating part. So we have to keep pressing forward. Don't allow the frustration. I mean, obviously, what we No, just with Martin Luther King Day just been passed and so forth. The struggles we got to prepare for that struggle day in and day out, and I think that's important. Don't give in to it.
Okay, I'm agreeing. I'm 1,000% agreeing with you, and don't give into it. But when you have, and I just heard you say something, when you have the brains, your brain, and this is me personally, right? I'm a little biased. I'm a little biased because I know your mind. I know the way you think. I know the way you lead. I know the way you coach. I know the way you mentor, right? I've been around Airbnb. I've been around all of these Black coaches. And to see the essence of that. And that's why I don't want to stay on it long. I just wanted to know, like, so what's the solution? Like, outside of just mentoring, we're going to mentor them. But when does that change, right? When we see all the injustice that's going on in the world, when does that really change? When we make up 73 to 75% of the National Football League, right? Like Black and brown people, we are at this place now to where I just think people like yourself need to be back in those positions and lead men, because anybody can play a football game. But the one thing I learned from Marvin Lewis is how to be a man. I learned how to take care of myself. I learned how to be respectful to other men. And I learned how to respect business. That's what I learned, Marv, when I came through that. You remember I was young, Marv, when you got me. I was so young, I was losing my mind. This personal, but I'm gonna let it out. This Marv cursed me every day. I was doing something wrong every day. But I learned something through all of the things that you taught me, I figured out it wasn't you just at me. You saw my greatness inside of me. You saw what I had the ability to do it, and I wasn't putting myself all the way into it, right? And that, right, from Tony, because we just had Tony on the show, and when we just talking to him, right, and then we just going over it, and we just asking him for his leadership, me and James Brown. So these conversations, Marv, I want to keep bringing to the forefront because I believe it's necessary, and I just believe it's time that a true change is made in the National Football League. Yeah, so that was just my thought.
I don't know if there's a fear that causes the hesitation, because it shouldn't be, because the application, the history, everything that I learned in coaching you guys and mentoring you guys, that's the thing that you apply for your team day in and day out. In fact, it's going to be the greatest ride of your life, that you are going to be able to enjoy this and take this with you the rest of your life, winning and being special. And that's the thing. That's the experiences that for the 16 years I was the head coach of the Cincinnati Bengals, we could keep driving for and driving to, that make that special. Because I know what special feels and looks like. I know what it smells like, it looks like, because I was a part of that. Yeah. And I can never let anybody be short of that, because I know shortcuts don't win. And that's the biggest thing. If you remember all the time, we talk, it's not shortcutting things. And that's the thing. And it is. And I want to instill that in others. I get a chance to be around, Antonio Pierce, who was just finishing up, was still, when you were finishing up, he was still getting going as a young player and won a Super Bowl with the Giants. And instilling in him the proper way of coaching and leading him how to develop the game plan and everything that way. So those are the things, and that's what I want to do, is to be able to bring Rod Woodson back in as a coach in the National Football League, because I know what he has to offer. Yeah, I know the knowledge and the mentorship that a Rod Woodson can bring in for these young men, because he played the game. He made it special. He brought the best out of Chris and Dwayne. Those guys were developed. It was just like when in Pittsburgh, the way Kevin Green and Greg Lloyd mentored Chad Brown, Levon Kirkland when I had them. So this part of this is the mentorship of the veteran player for the young player, and it continues all down the line. And that's the thing that you want to make sure, that there shouldn't be fear from ownership of what's going to happen, because these guys can get, all these players don't come out like Ray Lewis came out. they got a lot of other things going in their head right now with social media and everything. So it takes special men to reach down the neck of that guy, reach inside him and pull it out and lead him in the right direction all the time.
Absolutely. Abso-freaking-lutely. I need to go to this next side of this game because we need to get into these playoffs. I need to go. This from a player, but watching it, I want to know from a coach with your mentality. Do you get frustrated sometimes watching the way the game is called against defensive players?
I do, Ray. I really do. And obviously I was on the competition committee for, I think, 12 seasons, 11 seasons. And some of the interpretations of the rules have changed from the initial intent. And that's the hard part. They make it very hard to play defense, today. And we know we're trying to, when we learned to play football, we didn't learn to play football with our helmets and everything. So it was different. So we're trying to get that back out of the game. And we all understand that why and how. But some of the things being called are just, it doesn't allow guys to play, particularly on the perimeter. Those things, and that's such a huge penalty. And I think sometimes when it was actually a priority a couple of years ago for officiating, because the competition committee brought it up, that when a DB is running down the field and the receiver pushes him, that the separation that causes, and people didn't understand that. And now you see it coming back in a little bit. So those things are, I think, important. Don't officiate by what you thought happened. Make sure you see it. I think is really important. It's not about intent. It's about what happened.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Look, I got to pick your mind now. I got to pick your brain because I know you're going to be sitting down somewhere in front of a TV on Sunday. Buffalo, Kansas City. Who wins and why, Coach?
First off, I think it has an opportunity to be a close football game. This one come down to the Buffalo defense, in my opinion.
Okay.
I really think the Buffalo defense, the thing that they have done such a great job of Leslie, Sean, and what they've put together, they've been able to morph to defend these offenses week in and week out, whether it be a running offense, passing offense, 50-50 offense. And they're going to have to morph tomorrow in order to slow down that Kansas City offense because they make you defend the field. What they're doing in Kansas City makes you defend the entire football field for 60 minutes. And I think that's going to be, to me, the key of the football game is them being able to morph and match up and cover those dudes and then keep that quarterback contained, I think is important. You can't allow them to keep the game going by running for first down.
So you said something. I'm gonna go off script just a little bit. You go off script just a little bit. We'll come back to the NFC. But you said something about this offense. The Ravens 2000 defense against Kansas City offense. How does that play out?
Well, we're probably playing dime defense. We're probably playing dime defense, right. And I tell people we could do that because you could match up with those inside receivers. Right. A lot of the times, and we could stay in quarters coverage or cover six, and you knew which way your help was, and you'd push that receiver back the other way, and things like that. But you're gonna have to be able to match up. You're gonna have to match up on that tight end. Yep. And either the wideout, and so you're gonna have to let them, just like we let them corners to stay on their side and cover your dude. That's what you got to have happen. And obviously with Rod and Kim or Corey, whoever was at safety, we had good matchups on the interior. And that's how the defense was built. I laughed. It was a couple of years ago where they were talking about somebody was using the safety as a dime pass. Hell, we did that in 98, 99, 93. I mean, that ain't new. But
that's definitely not new.
But you got to have matchups, and those are the things we would have to morph. Jamie probably be mad at us because he wouldn't be playing as much, because we would have to morph in order to be able to slow that attack down and then tackle. You got to tackle. They're going to catch the ball, and you got to be able to tackle the catch and don't let them keep, falling for the first down.
Absolutely. Let's go on the other side. Before I let you get up out of there. NFC in Green Bay. Tom Brady takes the Bucs to Green Bay. Coach, look, both of them got run games that's starting to emerge and become a problem. I think Tampa's front seven is a little more dominant than Green Bay's. I think Green Bay's secondary has a little more experience. Who wins this game?
I think nobody's playing as good as Aaron Rodgers right now.
Nobody playing football like him.
The fact that his ability at the line of scrimmage is off the chart.
It's off the chart.
If you're going to match up and we're going to gang up and play the run and play quarters and so forth, then we're going to go over the top of you. And I think that's the thing is the Tampa secondary, can they match up and slow those guys down on the outside? And they do such a great job of mixing the run and the pass. And he does a great job of really dictating what's going on based on the look. They put pressure on you. That for 60 minutes, just like we said with the Kansas City offense, they're going to put pressure on that defense.
Yeah.
And it's a matter, can the defense slow them down, make some stops, make some third and longers? That's the thing, because what they do is they bleed you for 8 yards on first down, make it 2nd and 2 all day. That's going to be a long afternoon.
That's going to be a long. What makes Davante Adams so special?
He's so doggone. He's like T.O. probably with a little smoother athlete. Big, physical, strong at the catch. I think he's so passionate about the game that he's on board with everything they ask him to do. He's a good route runner. He's just not, a takeoff guy or a post guy. He's running routes. He's running across the field. He's getting the ball in his hand. I think he's a very good football player. He's playing really good right now.
He's playing really good. Coach, listen, man, I cannot thank you enough. This has been absolutely amazing. Before you go, we had a nice run in 2000. If there was one play, one game you remember the most, what's the play that you get asked about?
I remember a third down, and maybe it was a second down in the playoff game against Tennessee.
2nd down and 8.
I could get 2 plays. It was 2nd and 8?
2nd and 8.
And I caught 2 men out of base defense, and you intercepted the football. And when it came in the huddle, you looked at me. You looked over like that ain't supposed to be. And I said, go ahead, because they kept bleeding us. and for me, that, and when you made the tackle on the swing pass on Eddie George, those 2 plays, when McCurry was supposed to peel, and I come over to the sideline, and tears are running down Mac's face. He's got a Sharpie, and he's writing peel on his pants. But you went out there and made the tackle for a minus gain. And that, like we said, no one understands how special these guys were, man.
Yeah.
How y'all bled for each other. You fought for each other every day.
Yeah.
I mean, the bus trips, trips going to Philly to play a preseason game or whatever we was doing on that train and Goose and all Goose's mess all the time, when I would turn the lights out in the back of the meeting and Goose throwing spitballs at people, and Bailey and Trap wouldn't fight Goose. I mean, you just talk about, Goose, I'm putting in the game plan on Wednesday. Goose standing up in the room going like this, dude, cut it off. On Friday, he's like, hey, now when it's I right or I left, tell me what I'm supposed to do when it's through. So Goose, we cover that on Wednesday, man. But, just those guys and him standing up in front of the team saying, hey, this is what we get paid for now. We don't get paid for in practice.
Right.
This is what we get paid for. But it was just a group of men that really ultimately had one goal, and that was to be world champions. And not only did it, but did it in the right way. And I remember telling Trent Dilfer, you're going back to Tampa, man. You're going to have to be over at the other stadium. You have to go to the Yankees preseason stadium for all the media want to talk to you, going back to where you came from to win the Super Bowl. I mean, think about that.
Well,
Tony Banks, Trent Dilfer. I mean, throw in Tony Banks, man. People forget about, 3 different quarterbacks,
Marv, people have no clue. They have no clue. They have no clue.
They really don't have no clue,
Oh my gosh. Man, listen, Coach, I'm telling you, man, I can talk to you all day because there's so many stories that we have. But listen, I cannot thank you enough, seriously, because people ask me all the time about this Ravens 2000 defense, man, and your accountability to every man that made us accountable. And we took accountability and we owned it. And we owned it, right? And to hear people should listen to that from a coach, right? Because to hear a coach say, you guys knew what to do, even if I did go down, that's the way the game should always be. That's what the brotherhoods, and that's how they're built. And my man, I'm telling you, we did something that lasts forever. We did something that still to this day, we will always be talked about the rest of our lives because the game will never go back the same again. Nobody can play physical football the way we play physical football no more, Marv. Nobody. We went into games, Marv. We know we wasn't going to score. And we looked at each other and said, nothing matters. If they don't score, they don't win. That was our motto. Every time we got off the plane, when you closed that door, whoever spoke that night, everybody had something to get off their chest. We became a brotherhood. And I'm telling you, I just want you to know, I know you don't talk to as many people as I do, but the brotherhood still exists. Like we have something that is so special how many of us stay in contact with each other because we know the game is fading out from that type of football. So we were the last riders. We was old school football players. We hit you in the mouth, man. Like we wanted you to not want to play against us. And that's from the general. So, Coach, listen, thank you so much, man. I mean, listen, absolutely amazing. It's time for Black coaches to get back in the National Football League because you've inspired me to even, I'm telling you this, if you get back into coaching and you grab Rob Wilson, pick up a phone and call old Sugar because I got a little few plays in me.
For sure.
Coach, I love you, man. Appreciate you. Thank you for joining the show.
You're very welcome.
Absolutely, Coach.
My pleasure.
Yes, sir.
Take care. All right.
Yeah. All right. Look, you know what? When you talk about checking in, right? It's about like what's new, like what's really new. And for me, what's new is since 2021, I've stopped texting a lot of people, right? Why? Because if I really appreciate somebody or care about somebody, I'm gonna pick up a phone and I'm gonna let them hear my voice. And I'm gonna let them know I'm okay during a trying time. And this kind of leads me to why I'm training the way I'm training and why I'm trying all these different things, right? And I'm gonna kind of jump into it really quick today because I don't want to be long, but I want you guys to understand something. That man that Marvin Lewis, what he did for me at 19 years old was he changed the way I seen manhood. He made us appreciate coming to work. He made us understand that if you don't take ownership into not only your job, but on understanding your brother's job, you've missed the essence of what teamwork looks like and feels like. Listen, if I can just give somebody something today, I want to jump into this really quick. I'm gonna jump into some thoughts really quick because I want you to just understand this. I need you to try something new this week. Seriously, like try something new. Why? Why would you try something new? Because you only fail when you stop trying. Just Marvin made me try so many things. He made me come out of my comfort zone. He made me think like a coordinator at 19 and 20 years old. Every day. I'm 45 now, and every day I try something new. Every day I get on my bike, I try something new because it's something I've never tried before. That's just physically. I want you to think about this. I want you to think about all of the people on social media who has all of these powerful apps and all of these apps that make us dance and make us do all of this, they are doing exactly what I'm asking you to do for yourself. They're trying something new every week. And guess who they trying it with? They trying it with us. Oh, get on this app and dance. Oh, get on this app and show yourself. Oh, we're missing the essence. Try something new and do something for you. Stop trying to please everybody. One of the greatest sources of knowledge is experience. I told my daughter something a long time ago. I said, there's two types of people. It's people that go on social media to see what everybody else doing, and it's people that actually owns the content that's on social media. It's only two. But if you don't start experiencing things and watch what happens, break an old pattern by starting a new habit. Listen to me. I spoke at the Potter's house at Papa Jake's church, and it was about the comfort zone being disturbed. And this is the same thing, because you got to break an old pattern before you start a new pattern. Because if you don't, you pile garbage on top of garbage, confusion on top of confusion, lies on top of lies, and you've missed the essence of why you break an old pattern before you bring in something new. You ain't gonna go buy new clothes and put new clothes on top of old clothes. But how many times you wash your spirit clean? How many times did you mentally went into your system and asked yourself from a mental state of mind, what old pattern I got to get rid of? Do I doubt a lot? Do I fear a lot? Do I worry a lot? Because when you start breaking those old patterns, you replace them with new patterns. I laugh a lot. I'm happy a lot. I'm joyful. I'm joyful. But if you never change it, you stay the same. Only a car can be put on cruise control, and you can keep it there. Our lives, the day you find yourself in cruise control, you're either getting better or you're getting worse. There's no middle ground. And every time I think about what it means to really try something new or do something different, it's every day challenging yourself to be better than I was the day before. We're in one of the craziest times we've ever seen in our world. Let's make that facts. But maybe try not judging people. Actually, maybe try worrying about your life instead of everybody else likes and follows. Let's try something new. Let's not only just have on mask, and now you have on mask, you can hide who you are. You can still speak. Somebody can tell if you smiling or frowning by your eyes. I don't even need to see your mouth. We're in a different time. And I think, personally, it's a time of uplifting. I think it's a time that true people find their real peace, their inner peace. I think one of the greatest things, if you grab anything out of the storm that we've been going through, is we done had time to spend times with ourselves. And when you can spend time with yourself, you got the better you. That's one thing being on championship teams taught me. If you are talking about leading anybody, don't lead nobody until you find the best you possible. This ain't a perfect you. No man or woman is perfect. But I'm asking the question, do you actually search and CEOs, managers, bosses, before you go into work and control people's and talk to people a certain way, do you actually look for a better you on your way to work? I think where my head is at now is talking to Marvin and going through all of these different thoughts and listening to all of the requests that so many of you guys send me weekly. And I hear the noise, and everybody's dealing with so much noise. And I say the only way to counter that noise is start adding some newness in your life. Shake up your soil before you plant your seeds. Make sure the wrong weeds and wrong people aren't around you to keep you with the wrong mentality. I remember Marvin Lewis said something to us one day. He said, being great, it's not this man-made concept. It's actually a lifestyle. And when you really get serious about leading anybody, every day of your life, you don't live to be perfect, but you just live to find greatness, and you live to chase it every day of your life. Look, I'm gonna round it up, right? Because Marvin still doesn't know the impact that he had on my life. And he had the impact on my life, and this is for somebody today. Because I wasn't the man that I thought I was. I was a kid in a man's role. And every day he would make me feel so bad in meetings. And I used to always say, why is he on me so much? And then I realized, only become fearful if your boss stops talking to you. Because if they're talking to you, then they see something in you that you don't see in yourself. It's when they close their mouths that you should be concerned. This week, let's try something new. These are the takeaways for this week. Don't just become new because I want to wear a different pair of clothes or put on different shoes. No, let's become new. Let's do something that we don't do. Like if your habit is getting up and the first thing you pick up is your phone, pick up a Bible. If your habit is getting up and the first thing you get up is reading everybody else's gossip, fall down and pray. If your routine is eating all of these bad things that you know won't help you, change. They say it's expensive to eat right. Anything is expensive to eat if you don't know what you're eating. All of these ways we can change. The only reason I come on every week to do this show is I want people to try it. Try to find a better you. And when you do, your cavalry and the people you're supposed to be leading, they will be rewarded. The tongue, the power of life and death is found in the tongue. Well, then lead our people. Give them something new. And before you give them something new, give yourself something new. 7 days. Try for 7 days where you try something new. Break your pattern, break your comfort zone. Because I truly believe until your comfort zone is disturbed, that you will never find a certain side of greatness that you're looking for. And it ain't about money. And it ain't about what somebody else can promise you. It's about what you've promised to yourself. What a heck of a moment when you can take control of your life right now. That's the challenge this week. And I'm gonna leave you this. I want you to post, tweet me, whatever you got to do. There's so many ways to find me. It's easy now in today's time. Find me and let me know what you traded, what old pattern you got rid of, and what new life you brought into you. You ever notice, you ever heard somebody, and I'm gonna send you home with this, because this is why no excuses matter, why everyday greatness is it's a lifestyle. It's not a concept, it's a lifestyle. You ever heard somebody always tell you what you can't do, but they don't do it themselves? So imagine the company you keep. My trainer just turned 53 years old 2 days ago. And I said, brother, we started this when I was 25 years old. 20 years later, we're still doing the same things we were doing then. We traded our old habits. We took our earrings. We stopped cursing. We stopped going to clubs. We stopped getting drunk every night. We stopped doing all of these so cool things. And 20 years later, we celebrating on the back porch with a gallon of water after a workout with a fish and salad. Everything in life is perspective. It's just perspective. But this week is about trying something new. Once again, listen, Marvin, God, that man, his mentality, I just wish I can just give you everything that that man taught me in my life. But life has a way of influencing people who's okay with becoming sponges. And I'm glad I was a sponge around a man with his knowledge. Yeah, absolutely. Listen, thank you for joining me. Another, for me, amazing show. Just hearing the stories with Marv, just going back, reminiscing, hearing about the playoffs and all these different things. But the challenge is out there. Let's try something new. Post me, tweet me, whatever you need to do. Put something else in your life that makes you happy, that brings you joy and gives you satisfaction of finding an everyday better you. God bless you. Take care. I told you, if this is your first time, somebody picked up some nuggets today. Because, boy, when sugar cut loose, see, sometimes sugar got to come out to let y'all know, hold on. Just hold on to some of the things that you grab from it. Maybe if you just grab on to 2 or 3 things and just hold on to it, I guarantee you it'll change your life or somebody else's life that's watching you. God bless you. Thank you for joining.